up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Happy Humpday to everyone out there. Before we get started, let's do a little housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the others. Well, I guess not all the others, just the two others. But look me up there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Spread the word. Let's outsmart the algorithm. We're continuing to grow this thing. We're featured in the On Pattison newsletter a couple days a week. I believe today is the day. One of the days will be featured, so be sure to check that out. But just spread the word, because if you are enjoying this, likely someone in your circle will as well. And let's continue to have some fun here on this day in Philly sports history. The Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame Heritage Collection is now available online. You can go check that out through the link in the description. Already starting to plan some fun things throughout the year and gearing up to start prepping for next year's induction ceremony already. So go check that out in the link in the description. I'll be working on today, likely getting some pictures and photos up from the induction ceremony. So stay tuned for that. Then Sunday, we are kicking off our second annual gift and food drive benefiting the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. Really looking forward to that. We're going to do a two-prong approach. 2 weeks, we're going to collect money for gift cards for kids in the area. And then the final 2 weeks, we're going to do our reverse advent calendar. I'll give you an item each day. You can collect it, create a list. I'll make the list available online too if you want to do this with your kids. My kids seem to really enjoy it, where they put everything in a pile, and then the day after the advent calendar ends, we go make the donation in person. So if you want to follow along at home, that would be great. And then you can meet me over there one morning if you want to. But I'll kick that off on Sunday. There will be a GoFundMe for the gift cards, or you can donate directly to the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard. All right. Well, Joe was back. He was on a minutes restriction. He was certainly rusty. They lost again. Surprise, surprise. 111 to 99. They're back at it tonight against Indiana. Joe said he wants to play. Not sure if the team is going to let him. So I don't know if the decision to not play back-to-backs was his, the team's, or what. He's like, I'm a troll. That's what I do. So we'll see. Apparently, Nick Nurse said both Paul George and Joel, neither one were cleared to play tonight. So I don't know. Indiana has not lost yet. So it could be brutal if those guys don't play. Paul George had a breakout game, though. Finally seems like he got the rust shaken off. He had 29. But unfortunately, this team just cannot shoot. That's the problem with this team. Like, I watched the Temple game admittedly and then flipped on the Sixers, but they just could not hit a shot. They got the score down a few times in the second half before I fell asleep, down to like 3 or 5, and they just could not get over the hump. And I don't know if that's a sign of just the rust and not being able to be cohesive and gelling together, or a larger issue that the team just can't shoot. But they're back at it tonight against Indiana. We'll find out later today if Joe and Paul George will play. I don't know at this point. I feel like, I don't know. I should have seen this coming. I think I told you back during the NBA preview, I should have seen this coming. I knew, like I said, I think the analogy that the Sixers are like the crazy ex that you keep falling for, the I'm sorry's, or it'll be different this time. That's the Sixers and me. And I knew it was going to happen. I absolutely knew it. I didn't care. I was blinded by love. But here we are. What are we, 2-8, 2-7, 2-9? Who knows? Doesn't matter. Looking for lottery jockeying position at this point. But who knows? Maybe they'll gel and put it back together. And there I go. Like every time they get me. Sixers, Pacers tonight. We do have some Phillies news. Bryce won the Silver Slugger Award over at first base. I guess it's cool, but at the same time, with the way that season ended, it's just disappointing. But shout out and congratulations to Bryce for winning I believe it's his 4th Silver Slugger Award at first base. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Should be a great football episode this week. The college episodes have begun to drop as well, so be sure to give them a listen or a watch wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. And then go to Philly Goat. I've been talking about the cooler bags. Just don't make them sell out before my wife can buy me one for my birthday. But they're awesome. They have the duffel bag cooler as well as the backpack cooler. Backpack cooler is perfect. I cannot wait. Hopefully, so Abby, if you're listening, it'd be a great addition to the pool rotation. But they also have just released their NFC East parody shirts, or I guess maybe re-release. They have the Giants, the Dallas Cowpies, as well as the Washington Caucasians. These shirts are awesome. You have to love Philly Goats. Go to Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. Get a cooler bag. Get a shirt. Get all three. And let's have some fun. And remember, it's never too early to do your Christmas shopping. All right, Big 5 action last night. St. Joe's knocked off Villanova. First time that Villanova has lost to St. Joe's on Hawk Hill in like 13 years. Villanova's a mess, man. And I don't know if it's Kyle Neptune. I don't know if it's being in the Big East or what, but man, this team is a mess. And I don't know. I doubt they would make a change mid-season, but it's not looking good for the Wildcats. So I don't know what that would do to the morale of the team, recruits, or whatever. But Kyle Neptune's seat just continues to get hotter and hotter. Then in the other pod matchup, my Owls beat Drexel 69-61. A little feisty of a Drexel team there. Excuse me. Figured the Owls would win, but a lot of, as we talked on the Big 5 preview, a lot of turnover for Drexel. But man, they were a feisty little team. Every time Temple they would go up 9, and all of a sudden Drexel would go on a run. It seemed like Temple a couple times was ready to put the game away, and Drexel kept fighting back. So to me, both of those games yesterday were like the essence of Big 5. I know we'll never get the Big 5 that there was in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, but it's always fun to see the Big 5 teams. So St. Joe's beat Nova. Temple beat Drexel. Nova and St. Joe's still have to play Penn. Temple and Drexel still have to play LaSalle. But looking ahead to the Big 5 Classic the first Saturday in December, might be a decent matchup, Temple-St. Joe's, if everything plays out the way it should. Thinking about possibly getting tickets for that. It'd just be a cool experience to take the kids down to the Wells Fargo Center and see some games. But Big 5, St. Joe's beat Nova, Temple beat Drexel. Go Owls. All right, some Eagles news. They opened the practice window for Jordan Mailata. Could be back for Thursday. I think the issue is going to be conditioning. They're not, because of the short turnaround, they're not having full practices, so they've been doing walkthroughs all week. He wants to play. I think if the hamstring is there, I think we might see him get some snaps over at tackle. But things are looking up for the Birds. And just a couple quick hitters, because it's a wonky week as far as just even the press conferences and what the practice schedule and everything. But just a couple news and notes of things I noticed yesterday. The vibes for this team are great. I think they're a fun team. And it didn't start off that way, but as you see, like the defensive celebrations, just the way they interact, and I do have to say, the Eagles social media team does a great job if you follow their Twitter, just some of the videos they post. But there was a video that was posted yesterday, I guess it was yesterday, from the sidelines during the Dallas game with C.J. Gardner-Johnson singing about Cooper DeJean to the tune of Billie Jean. But he was like, Cooper DeJean, QB1. It was actually very funny, and just the way these guys are. Pardon my singing, I'm still dealing with this cold, but just the vibes and the way these guys they seem like such a cohesive unit, more so than what we saw last year. Reminiscent and getting vibes back to 2017 and 2022 when they were actually very fun to watch. And I feel as though throughout most of even though they were 10-1 at one point last year, they just were not fun, caused more stress than anything. But it seems like this team is having fun. And that leads us to today's question of the day. Is this a fun Eagles team? Or more appropriate, is this Eagles team likable? I feel like last year they were not likable at all. Like the Sixers right now, not likable. The Phillies last year, not likable. 2008, 93 Phillies, very likable. The 04 Eagles, very likable. The 17 and 22 Eagles, very likable. The 01 Sixers. Last year's Eagles team was not in that. I don't think they're quite to that level yet, but I'm seeing some of those same vibes and same sort of fun things that are happening. So that's my question to you. Is this 2024 Eagles team a likable team? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. I think they are. And you got to watch the video of CJ Gardner-Johnson singing. Like, it's incredible. Like, and if you saw the reactions to Saquon's hurdle of the defensive guys on the sideline, it's just that they're having fun. And I think it shows with the 5-game win streak. And I think that's a testament, like it or not, it's a testament to the coach. I mean, I'm not fully thrilled with it because I want to hate him, but I mean, look at the vibes of the team. So is this team likable? 267-495-8531. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. Zach Ertz is making his first return back to the Lynx since getting traded. He talked about what the ovation he should get and things like that. And honestly, Zach Ertz should get a nice little ovation pre-game, like during either introductions or whatever. I mean, what he did for this team was just incredible. I mean, the fact that they don't win the Super Bowl without his clutch 4th down catch and then that awesome touchdown where he dove over the top. So I think he gets a nice ovation, but Zach, that's where it ends. Once the game starts, you are the enemy. Didn't realize that this was his first game back either. But it'd be nice to see Zach come back to the link, get a nice little ovation, and then get popped over the middle by Zach Bond. Vinny Curry, speaking of that 2017 team, Vinny Curry retired officially as an Eagle. He will serve as the honorary captain Thursday night. And again, he was another one of those guys. It's a shame. He seemed like he was injured a lot, but he played a big role in that 2017 win. So kudos to Vinny Curry coming back home, retired as an Eagle, and serving as the honorary captain on Thursday night. And then the other interesting little tidbit I thought was they asked Vic Fangio about Jalix Hunt and why he's been getting more playing time. He's like, he's been impressing in practice. And did not realize this, Bryce Huff has a cast on his hand. So he's like, why not put the guy who's been practicing well and really impressing and fully healthy in the game? And it just kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just me trying to read between the lines and trying to find something to be upset about, but I just really don't think Vic Fangio likes Bryce Huff. I don't know. But Vinny Curry coming back to retire. Jalix Hunt getting some playing time, and I'm here all for it because I think that's good. It could end up being a very, very good pick by Howie if he continues to progress the way he is. Tomorrow we'll have a special Thursday edition of our 3 keys as well as our pick. Looking to go 6-4 with our picks. Looking to increase the lead in first place for the Birds. We'll break it down, give you the 3 keys. All right, we're going to go to the Sixers today. And on this day back in 1979, the Sixers lost to the Kansas City Kings 110-103. Dr. J dropped 26. Doug Collins dropped 22. Darryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder himself, scored 4. But 2 of those came on one of his most thunderous dunks ever. Excuse me. Midway through the third quarter, Darryl Dawkins leapt over Bill. I guess it's leapt or leaped. Not sure which way it is, but leapt over Bill Robinson and completely shattered the backboard. Glass went everywhere. Robinson had cuts on his hand. There were pieces of glass stuck in Dr. J's afro, causing a 1 hour, 8-minute delay as they replaced the whole basketball system. It was the goal of Darryl Dawkins to do this. He had said, I read the article in the Inquirer, they said he was telling everybody he was trying to shatter a backboard, and he did succeed. And then a few weeks later, he did the same thing at the Spectrum. So the commissioner, Larry O'Brien, was not happy about this. So he called him into his office and said, look, you need to stop this or else I'm going to fine you $5,000 for every time you break a backboard. I saw an interview with Dawkins. He was like, I never broke another one. But changed the NBA forever. They changed the way they even do the backboard systems and everything like that, all until Shaquille O'Neal came down and figured out a way to break it. But Chocolate Thunder, obviously he was known for his dunks. We talked a lot about him over the summer during the nickname tournament. He just was one of those. He was just fun. From Planet Lovetron, naming his dunks. Excuse me. Just a fun player. That 79-80s team. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. This cold. That 79-80 Sixers team lost in the NBA Finals to Philly's own Paul Westhead. That was the year that Magic Johnson played center for the Lakers. But, excuse me, on this day in 1979, Darryl Dawkins broke his first of two backboards. The second one, he pulled the rim completely off, just changing the way the NBA built their backboards and paving the way for Shaquille O'Neal to do it. So Chocolate Thunder broke the first of two backboards on this day back in 1979. All right, also on this day in 1979, the Eagles were riding high after pulling within one game of first place in the NFC East after they beat the Cowboys on Monday Night Football down in Dallas. Excuse me. They ended up that season finished tied for first place with the Cowboys. Won a wild card game before losing to, I believe that was the year they lost to Tampa Bay. The Flyers were 12 games into their 35-game unbeaten streak, setting high atop the standings there. There's an article, Paul Owens, the general manager of the Phillies, was complaining that George Steinbrenner was paying the players too much money and the Phillies could not compete with that. He was very upset about who the Phillies would be able to get via free agency after they had just gotten Pete Rose the year before. Did not matter as the Phillies would go on to win the World Series in 1980. Big Five preview was in the paper. LaSalle was voted by the coaches and the media to win the Big Five. St. Joe's ended up winning it that year. So that happened on this day also in 1979. But the big story, Darryl Dawkins in a 110-103 loss to the Kansas City Kings out in Kansas City, shattered his first backboard, did it again at the Spectrum 2 weeks later, got in trouble by the commissioner, and never did it again. So Chocolate Thunder, one of the all-time best nicknames in Philly sports history, excuse me, broke his first backboard on this day in 1979. We'll break down the Eagles-Commanders game tomorrow, give our three keys as well as our pick. My Temple Owls are looking good. Looking forward to hopefully a showdown with St. Joe's down at the Wells Fargo Center in early December. Sixers-Pacers tonight. Do Joe and PG play? Who knows? Does it even matter? And be sure to let me know, is the 2024 Eagles team a likable team? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Get that, anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 13th, 2024. I apologize for the coughing. I had like the water there, everything, just wasn't able to control it. So I do apologize. If I had a producer or a cough button, I could do it. I'm working on it. But go have yourselves a Wednesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.